Now in section B.1, this is minus versus negative signs. This is more of a side topic within section B. This is on page 3. So this is to recognize the difference between a minus sign and a negative sign. A minus sign is going to be a longer dash, and a negative sign is a shorter dash. So there's going to be a difference between the two. Now on the region, the questions, the dash is the same length. So you can't differentiate based on just the way they write it, whether it's a negative sign or a minus sign. So we're going to deal in this section about what is the difference between a minus sign and a negative sign, and when to know when the question is asking for you to use the minus sign or the negative sign. Here's an actual question from an Algebra 1 Common Core region. As you see over here, we have these dashed lines. We have 4 dashed lines in this equation. Some of those lines represent a negative sign, and some of them represent a minus sign. So we're going to discuss now how to know when it's minus and when it's negative. So now in the calculator, you have 2 buttons in the calculator. One represents a minus sign and one represents a negative sign. Now a minus sign is subtracting one number from another. A negative sign denotes a number that is a negative number. Negative numbers are those that are less than 0. So anything that has a negative sign is called a negative number. The minus sign is subtracting one number from the other. So it could be confusing, but we'll see how it works now. Here we have plus. We have the positive sign. This is the minus sign. This is subtracting one number from another, and then this is the multiplication and then division. So right there is this long dash is the minus sign. Now next to the 0, on the bottom, we have this shorter dash, and that's called a negative sign. So a negative sign denotes the negative number. So like -4 means 4 below 0. It's a negative number. So now when to use the minus sign and when to use the negative sign. So again, we saw that the region shows a dash, the same length dash line, to represent both a minus sign and a negative sign. So how do you know when it's talking about a minus sign and when it's talking about a negative sign? So now a minus sign is used when in between two numbers. So for instance, if we have 4-3, 4-3 means 4 minus 3. So if you see a dash, my dashes in my workbook are shorter than those used on the region, but just know that I don't, in my questions, I don't differentiate between a longer dash for a minus and a shorter dash for a negative. They're all the same length dash. So if you see the dash sign in between a 4 and in between two numbers, then you know it's a minus. So in between two numbers is a minus sign. So 4-3 is 4 minus 3. So in the calculator, the way to put it into your calculator, you go to 4 over here. This is the 4. You write the minus sign, click minus, and then you click 3. So you click minus, and then you click 3. You see in the calculator, the dash will come out longer. 4 minus 3, click enter, and you get the number 1, right? 4 minus 3 is obviously 1. 7-1 would be 7 minus 1, 7, and then the minus sign, and then 1. So if it's in between two numbers, it's going to be minus. 7 minus 1 is 6. 6-2 is 6 minus 2 is 4. Now, if it's also, the parentheses will not affect it. If it's after both parentheses or before both parentheses, it's still going to be a minus sign. We'll see a negative sign will be if the dash follows right after the open parentheses, then it's going to be negative. We'll see in a second. But if it's after or before the parentheses, both parentheses, then it's going to be a minus sign. So parentheses, the way to find parentheses in the calculator is here's the open parentheses. Then you click 9, then close parentheses right here. And then it's going to be a minus sign, minus 2. So if it's in between two numbers, it's going to be a minus sign, and the parentheses means after the parentheses or after both parentheses or before both parentheses, we'll see right now, will be a minus sign as well. 10-5, you see is also going to be a minus sign as well. If it's before both parentheses, we see over here, before both parentheses, it's also going to be a minus sign as well. Here we have the minus, that's going to be 4, 7 dash, it's going to be a minus as well. Now to differentiate a negative sign. A negative sign is talking about a negative number, like -4, -10. Those are negative numbers. That means 10 below 0. So negative sign is used in the worksheet and on the region when in front of a single number or immediately following an open parentheses. So if it's in front of a single number, so let's say we have -5. That's just -5. That means a -5. If it says -7, that means -7. -1, that means -1. So that's going to be a negative sign. So if it's not in between two numbers, it's just in front of one single number, then it's going to be a negative sign. Or if it immediately follows an open parentheses. So for instance, we have an example over here. So first we have -5. So the way to do it in your calculator would be you have the negative sign right here, negative, and then you click the number 5. That'd be negative. Or if it follows an open parentheses. So here we have an open parentheses, and then you have the dash. If it follows open parentheses, it's going to be a negative sign. So over here we have open parentheses, -2 would be open parentheses, -2, close parentheses. So if it follows an open parentheses, or if it's in front of a single number, then it's going to be negative. here we have, so for instance, we have 3 parentheses. Let's see, the dash follows after the open parentheses, even though it's in between two numbers. It doesn't make a difference since it follows an open parentheses, therefore it's going to be a negative sign. So it's 3 open parentheses, -4, close parentheses, click enter, and you'll get a -12. So now we have the questions here. This is question number 1 in the packet. Actually, the questions are alphabetical, so that's really A. It says 1 here, but it's really be A. So question A is, it says -7, -8. So again, it's going to be if it's in front of a single number, and that means that the negative sign will be if the dash is in front of the entire operation. So this is called an operation. If it's in front of the entire operation, it's going to be negative, or if it immediately follows an open parenthesis. So this will be -7. This will be -7. So you do the negative sign and then 7, and then the dash is in between two numbers. Therefore, it's going to be a minus sign. So 7 and then -8. Basically, it's always going to be minus unless it's in front of the operation, totally in front over here, or if it follows an open parentheses like over here. But besides that, it'll always be a minus sign. And you press enter, you get -15. Then you write -15 here, and that is the answer. We have over here 5 dash parentheses dash 4. So again, it's going to be 5, and then this will be a minus sign, open parentheses. But you see how this dash follows an open parentheses. So either if it follows an open parentheses or if it's in front of a single number, meaning that it's in front of the entire operation, it's going to be a negative sign. But so over here, it's after the open upper parentheses, so it's going to be negative, parentheses, open parentheses, and then negative for close parentheses. You press enter, and you get the answer is 9. So you're at the 9 over there. Again, this is question B, actually. In this slide, it says 2, but really in the packet, it says B. B.1 is in alphabetical, and it's A, and then this is B. Question C now in B.1 workbook. You have parentheses, -5, and then a dash, and then another parentheses, -2, close parentheses. So again, this is going to be if it's in front of a single number or immediately following an open parentheses. This is an open parentheses. This immediately follows it. Therefore, it's going to be negative. So open parentheses, -5, close parentheses. Now this is not in front of us, not in front of a single number or immediately following an open parentheses. Therefore, it's going to be minus. Therefore, it's always minus unless it's immediately following an open parentheses. Or if it starts the operation, meaning that it's in front of a single number. Minus, you write the minus sign, which is right here, and then you do open parentheses, and then another negative, right, because it follows an open parentheses, and then 2, close parentheses, you press enter, and you get -3. Then you write the -3 on the side. This is question D now. So now we have, you see here, this dash is in middle of 2 numbers, so therefore it's going to be a minus sign. So we have open parentheses, 8, minus sign, this is the minus sign right here, minus sign right here, 9, close parentheses, this is the close parentheses, and then another, remember, it's always going to be minus unless it's in front of a single number, meaning that it's in front of the entire operation, or it's immediately following an open parentheses. So this will be also a minus, all right, -2, open parentheses, this dash follows the open parentheses, therefore it's a negative sign. Here's the negative sign right here, 1, and then +5, and then close parentheses, press enter, and you get -9. Question E right now, it says the answer, but this way you do it is you do negative, right? This is in front of a single number, meaning that's in front of the entire operation, therefore it's negative. So you write negative, and then 1, this is in between 2 numbers, therefore it's a minus sign. You write minus, which is right here. 7, open parentheses, this dash follows an open parentheses, therefore it's -2, and then this is in between 2 numbers, therefore it's a -1, close parentheses, this dash is in between 2 numbers, -5, enter, and you got the answer is 15. Again, it's always going to be minus unless it follows an open, it immediately follows an open parentheses like here, or if it starts the operation. So it's always minus unless it starts the operation, meaning it's in front of a single number, or if it immediately follows an open parentheses. Otherwise, it's always going to be a minus sign. Again, here's the minus sign, and here is the negative sign. Here the answer is A through E, then you have F is -8, 10, and then you can see that in the worksheet. You could pause this video to see the answers. That is it for section B.1.